Hello there, it is IARESMART. So anyway, today, we're going to be talking about Mandalorian Season 2. You read the title, you saw the thumbnail, you're all hype about this. I'm reviewing the whole season. We're going to do it all in one big video, because if I could have reviewed every episode individually, but then that would have to be like spread out over like the whole. I'm just going to do it all now, alright? One big old video, we're going to review the whole thing, and I'm going to give you my opinions on it, because obviously, my opinions are the only ones you can trust. So anyway, before we get into it, I want to show you something cool. At work, I got this. You may be asking, what the heck is this? Check this out. Color changing lights, baby. It's kind of hard to see because I got my Christmas lights, the natural light coming in, and whatnot. But like, I'll show this off on a later date because I got the lamp. You know, it looks really good like at night. So I'll do a video like later at night. I'll record that, and it'll look really cool. So, and then we get back to normal lighting. There we go. It's really pretty. Also, I can make the light more of like a lighter. Like, see, look, looks totally different. It's more of a cooler. But whatever. I'm getting off topic. I'll show off the lights later. Today we're here to talk about The Mandalorian, Season 2 specifically. You may remember a year ago, I did a review on Season 1, and a year from now, I'll be doing a review on Season 3. So anyway, I just want to talk about it. For the first part of this video, I'm going to structure this the way I always do. First little bit of spoilers. I'll tell you the spoiler warning. Then I'm going to go deep, in-depth each episode and talk spoilers and stuff. So let's just start off. My general thoughts on Season 2. No spoilers. I liked it. I liked it a lot. There was a lot of things I wasn't expecting. I would say some parts felt kind of fan servicey to me. And I mean that's more personal opinion, but there's just a lot of stuff in there where it kind of felt like they were just putting it in there just to make people happy. But it was still cool. It wasn't like forced. You know, like some of the stuff in the sequels, like, hey, let's give Chewbacca this medal at the end of Episode 9 because the people will think that's cool, even though it literally doesn't make any sense. However, in The Mandalorian, they say, hey, look at this cool character I'm not naming because spoilers. Look at this cool character. They actually have a good reason for being here. That's where I think they do fan service well in this. So that's a big thing. Filler episodes don't exist. I want to make that clear. This show does not have filler episodes. I hate it when people say they have filler episodes, because 9 times out of 10, they're talking about the ones that have good character development in them. They're like, oh, this episode was so boring, it was just a filler episode. Like, what? This had all the character development in it. What are you talking about? But I'll get into that when I get into each individual episode. So anyway, yeah, I really liked this season. It had a different tone, this Season 1, I'll say that. And the tone was very different, I think, and that kind of divided people. Some people are like, oh, Season 1 was better. No, Season 2 was better. Personally, I think they're both different in their own right, is the thing. They're both very different themes. Season 1 is based more around the mystery of, you know, kind of who the Mandalorian is, and then he just kind of goes around his own adventures. This season felt more like side quests, with some cameos along the way. Like I saw, it really felt like a side quest. Pretty much every single episode in Season 2 was structured like, hi, I'm the Mandalorian. I'm trying to help save the child. Can you help me? And then other characters like, yes, I can help you with that quest. I know exactly how to help you. However, you have to do this side quest for me first. The Mando was like, okay, sure, I'll do this side quest for you. At the end of it, it's like, okay, go to the next person. They will tell you what you need. He goes to the next person, and the process repeats until we get to the finale. So, yeah, kind of a weird structure to it, but that's kind of cool. You know, whatever. It worked. I liked it. It was enjoyable. We got a lot of good episodes. There's a lot of good reveals. And overall, I'd say it was a good season. So if you don't have Disney Plus, and you have somehow managed to avoid spoilers, which is literally impossible. Literally everyone knows about the big spoilers, but whatever. So just go watch. Just go watch it. It's great. So if you are trying to avoid spoilers, which is like 2 people, so anyway, spoilers now. Alright, I'm going to give you a countdown. Click off, or else I'm going to start talking about spoilers. 3, 2, 1. Ahsoka Tano and Luke mother-flippin' Skywalker. Holy crud. Like, seriously? I did not expect that. Jeez. That was crazy. Like, wow. A lot of stuff. And Boba Fett, too. Like, jeez. Such a good season. Oh my goodness. So anyway, we're gonna go break it down episode by episode. Nope, that's not what I wanted to do. There we go. Okay. So, first episode. It's 54 minutes long. It's a bit of a long one. I thought this was kind of a neat one. I'm just gonna like fast forward through it and see if I remember any bits of it. So, also you probably won't be able to hear it, so I'm gonna try and avoid getting copy striked. So we're just gonna fast forward through, yada yada, stuff happens, review, he starts off doing this thing. I thought this was a cool opening. Kinda established the whole show, I guess. Oh, wait. He's in the desert now, he goes back to Tatooine, met that lady, I thought that was kinda cool. He ends up in the village, we see the reveal right around here, where it's like, holy crud, that's Boba Fett. And then you're like, wait, no, that's not Boba Fett. This was a cool moment for me, because I was like, holy crud. And I thought to myself, did they just confirm Boba Fett's death? Because I was wondering about this. People have been talking for years about Boba Fett, like, oh, yeah, he totally escaped the Sarlacc pit. And I've just been like, Boba Fett does nothing in the movies. Like, he's cool in some other, like, comics and stuff, but he does absolutely nothing in the movies. However, they show his armor here, and I'm just like, oh, well, someone else is wearing Boba Fett's armor, so I guess that means he's dead. However, we'll come back to this. So fast forwarding more, they talk. I really like that guy's name. I can't remember his name, but whatever. Anyway, Mando talks to the Tusken Raiders. They would need to defeat the Krayt Dragon, which is really cool. I really liked this. It goes on for a long time, but I really like the Tatooine throwbacks. It really ties it back to A New Hope. And then it goes widescreen. Like, notice how it goes from widescreen to full screen here. I don't know why. It's just kind of cool. It's hard to see because I got, like, the bars on there, but whatever. Anyway. Disney Plus is hard to control on this. I don't like this remote. Anyway, we got the big old dragon. They fight it. Mando blows it up. It's pretty cool. So yeah, basically that's it. And then, you get to the end of the episode. You're like, wow, so cool. And then, come on. Where is it? There it is! Look at this. You got the twin sons. You get, oh wow, what an interesting looking person. I wonder who that is. It's Boba Fett! This is such a good reveal. Honestly, I loved this. I really liked this. That was a really cool moment for me. So yeah, that was just really exciting. And we don't get to see him for a while longer in the episode, but it's pretty cool. So, please, next episode, okay. Next up is the spider one. This is a good episode. A lot of people said this was filler. It's not freaking filler. I hate it when people say stuff is filler. Because it's not a filler episode, it's character development. We get to see more of the Mando, and how he just is as a character. So anyway, we start on Tatooine, he's doing stuff. Baby Yoda does cute things, whatever. Mando walks through the desert for like a mile, because that makes sense. And then he meets this lady, and he's like, hey, I gotta find more Mandalorians. And he's like, okay, sure. And then the lady's like, oh yeah, by the way, take this frog lady. I don't know. She's got eggs. Baby Yoda keeps eating the eggs, which is weird and kind of disturbing, I guess. Because, Mando keeps telling Baby Yoda, like, hey, stop eating those eggs. And Baby Yoda knows that he's doing something wrong. So, a lot of people thought this was weird. I think what they're trying to show here is that Baby Yoda is toying with the ideas of good and evil. Because we've already seen him force choke Cara Dune last time, and he didn't really understand what he was doing. So we're seeing this. The point of this was to see if Baby Yoda could understand the concepts of good and evil, and that's what I think they were getting at with the egg thing. But unfortunately, for a lot of people, it just came off as kind of weird, especially to me. It took me a bit to kind of figure out where they were trying to go with that, and it was just weird and yucky. So anyway, we got the New Republic ships. I thought this was kind of cool because it didn't portray the New Republic like when they first showed the New Republic. They were basically just the cops, and they weren't immediately portrayed as like the end-all be-all good guys. So, hey, I'm all for that, Also, it's kind of weird for this episode to be like 27 minutes after the last one was 54, but whatever. And then we get spiders. I don't want to think about the spiders. I don't have arachnophobia, but holy crud, if you do, don't watch this episode. Just avoid it. Just avoid the last little bit. You're not missing much. It's just awful. Like, seriously. And there's a big one that's like, oh, come on. But thankfully these New Republic guys show up, and also one of them's Dave Filoni, so that's kind of cool. And they saved the day, so, end of the day, New Republic, they did a decent job. But then Mando's just like, yeah, we gotta drift through space now. So, I don't know. It's a bit of a forgettable episode, but some important character development does happen, so it's not a filler episode. This is a very big show. They do not have filler episodes. So anyway, moving on. Next we have the one with the Mandalorians. Yeah, this is basically that one. This is the one where you're like, alright, so, I guess he's just stuck here. He's drifting through space, whatever. He gets to the planet, after doing the worst Uber job ever, but whatever. Frog Lady gets to meet her husband, and, so yeah. We're here, we're on Water World, I guess, I don't really know what's going on. Stuff's happening. He's like, hey, I heard I can find some Mandalorians, and these guys are like, oh, sure, we'll take you on a boat, we're totally not gonna betray you. And wouldn't you know it, the guys in the boat betray him and try to kill the child. And the child almost died, that was kinda neat. But then, we get the reveal of Bo-Katan! Holy crud! I was not expecting this. Like, seriously, this is the last thing I expected to see in this show. And it was freaking crazy. Like, look at this. Look at that! It's Bo-Katan! From, like, Star Wars, The Clone Wars, and Rebels. They took a character from the animated series and made it into live action. That's so crazy. And it's just so cool, because then we get to see the Mandalorian, like, wait. Mandalorians take their helmet off? What the crud? That's what he's doing in this scene. And honestly, I mean, imagine taking your helmet off. That's so cringe. Anyway, so we get that. That's really cool. And that kind of plants the seeds for something that'll happen later in the season. So we'll get to that. We get the Imperial ship. This is a pretty cool scene. We get to see the Imperials doing Imperial business, I guess. As you do, They're just transporting cargo. Also, I want to point something out here. Where is it? Yeah, let me just back up a couple seconds. So how people say stormtroopers can't shoot? I've talked about this before. I'd like you to take a look at this. Take a look at this shot here, okay? Look at these stormtrooper blasts. I don't know. It looks to me like those shots are hitting. I don't know about you. Maybe they could be missing. But it looks a lot to me like the stormtroopers are hitting their shots. Of course they die, because, he threw grenades, and he's literally wearing Beskar armor that's blaster-proof. But I don't know. Looked to me like the stormtroopers were hitting their target there. Not like I have a grudge or anything, but whatever. So anyway, we get this thing, and then we get the biggest reveal of all time. Bo-Katan is like, oh yeah, by the way, go find Ahsoka. Unfortunately, this was ruined for me. Someone literally just posted the screenshot on, like, a community post on YouTube saying, literally everyone when Ahsoka reveals in The Mandalorian. Not an hour after the episode revealed. I hadn't watched it yet. Someone posted a picture of Bo-Katan saying Ahsoka in The Mandalorian and spoiled it for me, and I'm freaking mad, alright? I hate people who spoil stuff on YouTube. It's literally the worst. And it wasn't even a video. It was a community post that just popped in my subscription feed without asking. Or not my recommendation feed. It's freaking... I hate it. I hate it. So anyway, next episode. Trying to speed through this. What happened in this episode? I don't remember. Oh yeah, this was a cool episode. Yeah, I think it was funny. Baby Yoda just fixing the wires or whatever. That's pretty neat, whatever. We get to see some more stuff. We get to see Cara Dune and Greef Karga show up again. That's pretty cool. I like those characters. We get to see Baby Yoda go to school and eat Oreos from space. That's pretty neat, And then they're like, oh, by the way, we found an Imperial refinery. Can you help us blow it up? And it's like, yeah, sure. And then they find these vats. It's like the weirdest thing. They just have these... And also the blue guy came back from episode 1. That was weird. I didn't expect to see him again. But we see these blue vats. And we talk about the Yem-Cow and how they need more Baby Yoda samples. And that just kind of plants the seeds of what the crud is happening. So anyway, we get more stuff. Yada yada, they escape. Yada yada, TIE fighters. Stuff happens, blah, 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 stuff blows up. We have the worst speeder bikes. Oh, wait, I need to see something. Okay, just a second, let me go back. Yeah, these are the VAPs. I don't see what they're doing with this. This looks weird. So anyway, we get this guy. Who asked? We get this guy. Straight up asks, did you lose anyone at Alderaan? Like, seriously, dude? An entire planet blows up. She's like one of the few people who survives by not being on Alderaan. And he asks her if she lost anyone on Alderaan. How dumb is this guy? Anyway, this is setting up the new series. Like, I forgot to mention it the other day, but on December 10th, Disney announced, like, a ton of stuff. Like, all these new Star Wars projects. Like, they announced, like, oh, the Ahsoka series, the Rangers of the New Republic, the Mandalorian Season 3, they're all going to be connected. And then a ton of other Star Wars projects. It's insane. I didn't get the chance to talk about it, but a lot of people already have, so you've probably already heard of it. But anyway, that's kind of like where the Rangers of the New Republic is going to be starting. So anyway, then we get the freaking Dark Troopers. This was insane to me, because, like, holy crud, another thing that used to be not canon, and now it's canon again. So, that's just cool. I love that. I love that stuff. I love that Jon Favreau is just pretty much making the MCU, but Star Wars. So it's basically just the SWCU, the Star Wars Cinematic Universe. So yeah, crazy stuff. Anyway, next episode, it's the big one. It's what we've all been waiting for. So, you know, we're just going to go forward a bit, and, you know, yada yada. And then the biggest, big reveal of all time, Ahsoka Tano. Holy crud. This is what everyone wanted. Live action Ahsoka. It's the coolest thing ever. Like, seriously. This is so cool. I can't even tell you. It's 100% fan service, but it's done in a way that's pretty decent. And I was a bit worried they were introducing all these main characters into the Mandalorian, but then they announced the Ahsoka series, so Ahsoka gets her own series, and the Mandalorian stays a show about, you know, the Mandalorian, you know, not about all these other characters talking to them. So whatever. Anyway, we get a bunch of cool stuff. Mando just goes into town and says hi, you know, whatever. Not much happens too much in the middle bit, but we get some cool stuff. Funny thing here, Ahsoka says a line somewhere around here like, "Oh yeah, he's very powerful in the Force, but you know, he still needs training," which is a bit of a punch at the sequels, you know, because you know we have Rey. I love Rey, but unfortunately the writers did her dirty by making her the most poorly written character. She could have been the best character. She could have been up there with Ahsoka on terms of good character writing, but the writers were lazy and just said, "Oh yeah, she has Force powers, but no training, so okay." So this is funny, because they're poking fun at the sequels, so I'm all for it. Anyway, moving along, Ahsoka and talks, we get Baby Yoda's name is Grogu now. That's where we get, in this episode, we get that confirmed. So anyway, we get to see Ahsoka do more Ahsoka things. Also, this duel. A lot of people said this duel was boring. I thought this was really cool. Also, my dad pointed out it was like it was like a samurai battle, because like kind of a clash, and they kind of look at each other for a bit, and then they clash again, which is what the original Star Wars like duel was based off of. Like in the original '70s version, George Lucas took inspiration from samurai movies, and that's why the duel between Obi-Wan and Vader is so boring. Just more Star Wars facts through. Also, we had the shootout in the street between Mando and that other guy who has a name, I think. So anyway, yeah, stuff happens. This is a cool duel. We get the name drop of Grand Admiral Thrawn. Ahsoka's looking for him. That's basically what her series is going to be about, I guess. So yeah, crazy stuff. We still got a couple episodes left, though. So up next, we have this one. Let's go. Crazy stuff happening. So anyway, just a bit of a recap. We see the Dark Troopers, yada yada. Wonder what's going to happen this episode. Mando's taking Yoda to sit on a rock, and on this rock, he's going to do a thing. So anyway, he flies over, he sets him down on the rock. He's like, "Alright, okay, sure, do your thing, Jedi, I guess." And this is neat, you know, he's calling out through the Force to a Jedi. I wonder who that is. Can't be Ahsoka, we already saw her. And Boba Fett comes back and he's like, "Hey, give me my armor back." Mando's like, "No." And then they fight over it for a bit, well, whatever. Also, we get, Fennec Shand, or Shar, I can't remember what her name is, basically, Ming-Na Wen, whatever. She's back, which is pretty cool, because, I remember last season, at the end of episode 5, it was episode 5, when her character was introduced, we see her presumed dead at the end, and then a character with spurs walks up to her. And a friend of mine told me, "Yo, IARESMART, look at this. The spurs, that means it's got to be Boba Fett." I'm like, "What do you mean?" He shows me a clip from Empire Strikes Back, where Boba Fett walks in, and he has the same spurs. I thought, nah, that's probably not it. That's too out of the way. But then this episode just straight up confirms, yeah, that was Boba Fett, because Boba Fett saved her life. So yeah, I guess I was wrong. Sorry. Anyway, moving swiftly along, we see the stormtroopers come out. And, again, stormtroopers are actually fairly accurate here. I mean, they do some stupid stuff for comedy's sake, but I think they're pretty decent, Also, there's another shot where they all hit their target. And also, we get the ultimate fan service scene where Boba Fett just straight up, murders all of them. Like, look at this. Look at this guy right here. This is the Boba Fett that we always needed. And also these ships. These are like beta versions of the First Order landing craft, which I think is really cool because it connects this to the sequels. And then we just get this. This is straight up just Boba's back. This is just, this is just watch it and enjoy it. Like, come on. This is so cool. Like, they didn't have to do this, but then it's just like, come on, look at that. The one ship blows up, it hits the other ship. He just looks back, it's like, this is Star Wars. This has restored my faith in Star Wars. A lot of people were upset about the sequels. I think this was like the thing that restored their faith. And then you're just like, oh wow, this is cool. Then the Razor Crest blew up! I am so sad. The Razor Crest blew up. Thankfully I still have the Lego version. But oh my gosh, the Razor Crest blew up. I was so sad. Absolutely devastated. Then we see, like, the Dark Troopers show up. They kidnap Baby Yoda. You're like, Grogu, and you're like, holy crud. Oh no. Oh god. What are we gonna do now? And then we find the reveal that Jango Fett was actually a Mandalorian. This has been up in the air for a while. Is he? Is he not? I don't know. This confirmed it. So that's cool. And then we see Baby Yoda, like, force choke stormtroopers, and the stormtroopers put baby shackles on him. Like, they literally have baby-sized handcuffs. Like, where do you even get baby-sized handcuffs? Like, those have to be special made, like, seriously. Anyway, I'm getting too off topic. Also, Baby Yoda's, Grogu was kind of evil, because, he, like, choked out stormtroopers or something. I don't know. So that's kind of more into, like, the egg-eating thing, is, like, he's doing things that are more bad, but he also, does he realize he's doing it? Because, he's a baby, so, I don't know. It's just stuff to make you think. Anyway, we're getting towards the end here. And we're like, oh god, what do we do now? Grogu is gone. And this is the first episode that doesn't have Grogu in it. That's pretty neat. I mean, besides in, like, a flashback. But, besides that, Bill Burr comes back. I did not expect his character to be so interesting. This episode made me think a lot. And just kind of gave you a different perspective. It was like, I don't know, it was really interesting, because we got to see an Imperial perspective that we haven't seen before, because Bill Burr's character, Mayfield, is an Imperial defector. And so he's kind of just like, oh, I don't pick a side, I'm just on my own now. And that's like his whole thing. Also, we get these juggernauts, those are pretty cool. But we see that Mando has to take off his armor and replace it for a stormtrooper armor, so he still has to wear the helmet, but it's not his helmet. So then, Mayfield asks a question like, whoa, what is it? What is it then? Is it just you can't show your face? You can't take every helmet? What is it? What's your code? And he makes a point of, everyone, keeps their morals up until a point, and like, what's your point? Which is really cool. It makes us question the Mandalorian, and makes him question his morals. This is an episode people called filler. I'm like, how do you call this filler? This is so good. This is character development. Not that we haven't even gotten to the best part yet. So we're moving along. We get some good stuff. They talk for a bit, and we see some more stuff. It's really cool. Then they get attacked by like raiders or something, and then yada yada. We get like, oh crud, the other ships are blowing up. What is this? So yada 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 yada. Whatever, stuff's happening. And then we get to the Imperial base. This is cool. We get to see all the stormtroopers celebrate. I'm like, yeah, the Empire won for like a half a second. This is cool, right? And I was happy. All the stormtroopers were like saluting, and it was great. I loved it. So cool. So anyway, we're moving on. Then we get a really interesting scene. So to find the location of the child, Mando has to make a difficult decision. He has to take off his helmet. And he does that, and he just takes it off, because he makes the decision of, like, his morals are saving the child. and he chooses saving the child. That's huge. I think a lot of people don't realize that. That's huge that he made that decision. So anyway, I don't know, I really like that. And then we get this guy, this officer right here, and then he talks with them for a bit, and it used to be Mayfield's officer, and we see a different side of the Empire, because he defends the fact that, because Mayfield's like, oh yeah, by the way, my entire battalion died, I'm kind of low-key mad at you. And the officer's like, oh, well, they were all heroes of the Empire, you know, they sacrificed themselves. And we get to see this perspective that we've never seen before. They've never showed us an Imperial's perspective, and they did it here. I love that. I mean, I have bias here, but I just wish, this is what I want more of. I want to show both sides of the war. There are two sides to this war. It isn't just good guys and bad guys. There are blurred lines. That's what I love about this. I love The Mandalorian for moments like these that make us question what we think we know. So anyway, these guys chat for a bit, stuff happens, and eventually Mayfield just gets pissed and shoots the guy, which was a pretty cool scene, I will admit. So anyway, also we get to see Mando with his helmet off for a bit. That's kind of cool. You don't get to see Din Djarin's face very often. But also, we get, where is it? So he blows up the base. I kind of saw it here, and I was like, no way, he's not going to do it, is he? He's not going to do it. Is he going to do it? Is he going to do it? And you get this. Look at this. It's so cool. I love this. Oh, the Sonic Imploder. I love it so much. It's so cool. I love that. That was such a cool moment. That just made it all worth it. So anyway, yeah. And then we get the thing where Mando calls, what's his name? Gideon. And he's like, hey, give me my kid back. So anyway, season finale. If you stuck around this long in a video, this is the good part, alright? This is a long video, so thanks for sticking with me. So anyway, there we go. Okay. So we're moving along. We get this scene. This is really cool, because we get this guy, and he says some very interesting stuff. He mentions the death of Alderaan, and he says it had to happen, which is interesting. We get to see an Imperial perspective. Like, this guy was on the Death Star. He was like, yeah, by the way, I blew up Alderaan. Yeah, and I don't regret it. And then he just says this straight up to the other characters, which is really interesting. And then Cara Dune says, like, oh, yeah, I was on the Death Star. And Cara Dune's like, oh, which one? And he's like, haha, funny. You do realize, like, thousands and thousands of people died on that. Because we always say, like, oh, no, all these people died on Alderaan, but it's like, they were the rebels, so we're sad about it. But, you know, when thousands and thousands of Imperials die on the Death Star, we don't care, because they're the bad guys. So again, this makes us question which side is right. And I love this stuff. It gives us different perspectives. It's what I've always wanted from Star Wars, and they're giving it to us. So good. So good. And obviously, they're still going to be painted as the bad guys in this show. But we get to see their perspective. So anyway, Boba and the other Mandalorians fight because they don't like him for some reason, well, yada yada. Basically, Bo-Katan's just like, hey, I want the Darksaber, that's all I'm here for. So we go on, and they do their whole thing. They got the guy with the glasses for some reason, I don't know why they got him. But they have him. They show up to the the Light Cruiser. And they get this cool thing. Also, we get a pretty cool scene here, where, the Dark Troopers light up. But also, where is it? Come on. No, back a bit, actually, sorry. Oops. Sorry, I'm getting lost. I'm trying to remember what my point was here. There's a cool scene. Yeah, this one. This is like the girl power scene, and this is actually done right. There have been a couple times, like especially in Avengers Endgame, where they had the girl power scene, where every female character in the movie just kind of stood there and was like, yeah, look at us. It was just really awkward and forced. This works. We have all the female characters, and they just go out there, and they start shooting. And it's not forced. They don't say, like, hey, look at us. We're a bunch of female characters doing stuff. It doesn't feel forced. It just feels right. And it works. And it's great. And I like it. Do more stuff like this. Anyway, moving along, we get more Dark Troopers. We get sneaking around. We get, yada yada. Mando has to, we get a lot of fighting and stuff. Just a lot of action shots. But then we get this. We think for a second, like, hey, it looks like Mando and Gideon are going to make an arrangement. He just wants the Darksaber. Mando just wants, Grogu. They can just go their separate ways. But then, nah, they decide to fight anyway. It's pretty cool. And then Gideon, like, kind of purposely loses. One, because he knew he couldn't. But also, because then he comes in, and he's like, oh yeah, by the way, Bo can't take it. He knows what he's doing. He knew what he's doing. He's saying, hey, this guy, Mando defeated me in combat. He owns the Darksaber now. It looks like you can't have it, Bo-Katan. And you can see Bo-Katan's getting pissed with him. But also it's weird, because literally in Star Wars Rebels, Bo-Katan just took the Darksaber from Sabine, and was like, okay, I'm in charge of Mandalore now. And no one questioned it. But now, she can't take it here. I don't really get it. It's going to take someone smarter than me to figure that one out. Or maybe they're going to do something else with it. I don't know. But then anyway, the Dark Troopers come back. And basically, it looks like everyone's going to die. So, pretty bad. We get a lot of tension here. And then, you see an X-Wing. And you're like, I wonder. Then you see a figure in a hood come out of the X-Wing. And you're like, I wonder. And you see on the screens that this person has a lightsaber. You're like, I wonder who it could be. Then you see this person has a green lightsaber. You're like, I wonder. Then you see this person has a gloved hand on their right hand in this green lightsaber that has the same hilt as Luke Skywalker. And you're like, this is Luke Skywalker, isn't it? And it's so good. And at the end, instead of the Vader hallway scene, we get the Luke hallway scene. Like, look at this. This is just iconic. Look at him. Look at this guy right here. This is cool. This is so cool. So anyway, moving swiftly along, we get the reveal of Luke, actually played by Mark Hamill, just, with some editing on his face. It looks really weird, though. It's not perfect. It can't be perfect. But dang, does it look good. Like, it's not, actually like young Luke, but it looks pretty good. And then, we get the scene that, I am not kidding, made me tear up. Very few times do I tear up other than at something like this. Things don't make me cry. This made me cry. There was so much emotion in this scene, because we see Baby touch the helmet, and Mando just knows what he has to do. And we see the full character development of him taking the helmet off. His character arc has come full circle from, no, I can't remove my helmet, to, okay, maybe I can once in a while, to, okay, fine, I can take it off. And you just have all the emotion of the weight being lifted. He doesn't have to worry about the whole helmet thing anymore. And he has this emotional connection with the child, with Grogu. And we have to see him let him go. And he says goodbye, and, oh my goodness. It's such a powerful moment. It was amazing. Oh my goodness. It was really powerful. I teared up. I don't cry, but I teared up, and very few things can make me do that. So, a very powerful ending to this show. And just all the things. And it just wraps it up nicely. It doesn't give us a cliffhanger, but still has questions unanswered that makes us excited. And then, of course, at the very end, we have the end credit scene, where Boba Fett just goes to Jabba's palace, and he's like, oh, by the way, I'm in charge now. And then we get the Book of Boba Fett, which is either a book or a movie that's titled The Book, so I don't know. But anyway, yeah. This was a 30-minute long video where I talk about The Mandalorian. So, I doubt many people are going to stay around this long, but if you did, thank you so much. You're an awesome person. But yeah, that'll be it for me. See you Wednesday. And also, Christmas is coming up, so Merry Christmas. Bye, everyone.